We left off with our constructors on our math class, and now we're going to add in some functions. So out here, we have a few functions that we created earlier. We're actually going to create the same kind of functions, but they're going to be contained within our class. So the way we're going to do that is actually the way that we just did it. So the functions are going to be created in the same way. We're going to start off with our sum num, and what we're going to do is create the body. Now, this is a little bit different because you'll notice we're not passing in parameters. So the way that's going to work, and we're going to return, is to use the ones we have. So we have that A and that B already, and we can then just go ahead and add them together like this. So that's a great feature. Once you create your class, you can either use the defaults or you can pass in your values as you're creating the class, and you don't have to worry about passing those values in again. They're just going to be manipulated from that point on. So we're going to create a subtract with no parameters, of course, and create the body for that. So that's going to be a return, and also make use of the internal A and B like this. And we want a method to show this. So we're going to also have a display. Now remember, we had show output and it was a void because it returned nothing. So we are going to have a void here, and we're going to display. That's going to be the method name. Now in this case, we are going to pass in a parameter. So we're going to see how that works. And close this off. So what we're doing is a cout. So it's the same kind of syntax that we've used before. Inside display method, result is, and we're going to show value and end of line, save. Okay, so this class is ready to be used. Let's go ahead and give it a try now. And instead of spending all this time capturing values from the user, I'm actually going to comment this out and let us go ahead with some stock values basically. So I'm just going to set these to 5 and 2. And we're going to make use of these throughout. So let's just see here, make sure our application is okay with everything, and it is. All right, so below here, we're going to create an instance of class math. And to do that, we start with our type, and we're going to call this class instance M. So just like with our other variables, we start with an int, and so right here, sum is just an int. This is just going to be a math. And we're going to create the instance by doing math, passing in A and B to the default constructor. Or actually, let's just go ahead and do a math 1, and we're not going to even use the default constructor. Or we actually are going to use the default constructor. And then let's print out what this looks like. So we're going to say value of m1.a equals, and we're going to have m1, and we'll reference it. You can see we're getting some hints with everything inside that class, including the functions. We'll reference our a, just provide an end of line. And we're going to reference our b as well to show what it will look like. So in here, we're going to have a b and a b, save. Let's go ahead and run. So we should see 2 zeros, right? Because our default constructor initializes to zeros. And there we are. So simple enough. Let's go ahead and do it one more time. I'm going to copy this, and we'll use different values. So we'll use our A and our B values. And this is going to be an M2, different instance altogether. And save. Let's run. And you'll notice here, we get our different values. I'm just going to take an end of line off of that one and this one so they group a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so let's use our methods, and we're going to use them on M2 because it actually has more interesting values than just zeros. So we'll cout, and we'll say calling some method of M2. Or we could have just done m2 dot whatever the method name is. And we'll put a space here. So we have m2, and we have our hints. Let's go ahead and do this with sum. and run. So you'll notice here it is with 7. We don't pass anything in. Again, those values are coming in right there. And let's just do an end of line on that one. And if we want, we can call other methods. So calling, let's say, subtract. And let's see, that's spelled wrong. I think I actually probably spelled that wrong in here too. And so I did. So I'm just going to change that and that, which will kind of cascade, but it's a quick change. So just do a few quick updates and build. And then down here, we're going to have our subtract right there. And we can go ahead and run this now. And we get our 3. So that's great. And basically we've used everything except our display. And we can go ahead and do that because it's a little bit different, not much at all, but just a little. So here we'll just do calling m2 dot display. And we're going to go ahead and remove these parentheses. We'll do a dot and we have display. So you can see here, it's going to want some value. We can give it a and run. And if we scroll up, we can get a better look at the error here. Let's see, that's going to be pretty far up. And so this is all the way at the top. We can see what it's complaining about. Okay, so let's scroll up and see what we have in this method here. So the reason everything's kind of breaking down on this method is because we have all we need to actually display anything. And down here, we are trying to basically do a display or a cout inside of a cout. Display has a cout. And that's one of the great things about that method is it basically reduces all of that to this and handles it. So let's go ahead and play that, our build and run. And you can see there we get our value for a inside of our display. All right, so that concludes our basic classes. And what we're going to do next is start getting into pointers.